Hello, hola, bienvenidos. As you guys can see from the title, today we're doing duping new makeup releases. There are so many new makeup releases, you guys. I told you guys, in the springtime is where I get the itch, the urge, the want to try to get some new makeup palettes. I have 5 for you guys today that I want to share with you guys that I have found similar palettes in my collection. And surprise, surprise, I did not include ColourPop this time around. I tend to include ColourPop because they're so easy to do, but I challenged myself, didn't add any ColourPop. At least I don't think I did. Gotta double check. But I am gonna share with you guys 5 palettes that I've been able to find something similar in my collection that is going to help me to save money. Speaking of saving money, you guys, I have partnered again with Dossier. This is not sponsored. They asked me if I wanted to try out more of their perfumes. You guys, I fell head over heels for this brand. I have featured them already before in the past. I'll link that video up in the iCards if you're interested. This is a brand that is really getting noticed, and I'm so excited. A lot of you guys had commented that you already love the brand, you already own a lot of their perfumes, and I picked out 2 new perfumes this month. I tried the Woodsy Freesia and Ambery Vanilla. Now, these were inspired by my sister. I had asked her which scents does she like for the winter time. I ended up receiving 2 scents last time for the winter, and I wanted 2 more for the winter because I knew spring would be rather easy for me to choose. But she ended up choosing both of these for me, and you guys, my sister owns the actual name brand of Ambery Vanilla, which is very similar to the YSL Black Opium, and she actually preferred this one over her actual Black Opium. She felt like this one was a little bit more of a hint of vanilla, and she loved that a lot more than the original. She's like, and I spent $80-some on it. You guys, these are amazing. I love these. Mr. Man loved these. This is the time of year where we're transitioning into spring from winter, and you're probably wanting new scents. Spoken about them. I've told you guys a lot of things about them in my previous video. I wanted to let you guys know that I do have a coupon code if you're interested. If you sign up for their newsletter as a new customer, you get 20% off, and you can tack on my 10% off on top of that. So you can get 30% off of your order. And if you order, I believe, 3 or more perfumes, you can get free shipping, which is amazing. You guys, I have a list going for Mother's Day of the scents that I am going to purchase for Mother's Day and that I want for myself. You guys, perfect time for that if you're transit for birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, no matter what it is. I think this is such a wonderful brand. I love everything they stand for. So I'll have everything linked down in the description box for you guys to check them out. I seriously been having a blast with these perfumes, throwing them on, spraying them. My kids are like, "Ooh, mommy, you're smelling good," which is very good considering kids are notoriously blunt, honest. So for them to say that I am smelling good, I'm so excited, you guys, so excited. So anything you need to know will be linked down in the description box, and my coupon code as well. If you're using it, thank you so much. It is not affiliated. I do not get a dime, you guys, for this. This is just for you guys to enjoy. So I wanted to let you guys know about that as well. So everything you need to know will be down in the description box. So you're here for some makeup palettes that I will be duping, you guys. So if you're interested, stay tuned. But first, if you're new, hello, Alejandra. I go by Alex. I am an eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash of Japan. If you want to continue to see this on your feed, subscribe and join us. And now let's get on with this video. All right, so let me just put it out there because I didn't put it out there in the last video and I got some comments, so I just want to make it very clear. If anything that I dupe that I do not like, or am satisfied with what I have in my collection and you are wanting it, get it. Who am I to tell you how to spend your money? If there is something that I don't like and you like, that's okay, because there's things that I don't like that you may like. So we all have different preferences. Please do not get offended. This is not a video for you to start attacking me or attacking the release. This is just for mere fun, for me to get my mind off of the things that I am considering purchasing, finding a way to save money, finding a way to just use what I have, shop my own stash without spending money, and helping you guys out in the long run. Just wanted to put it out there. You guys, if you want to get any of these releases, go right ahead. Go right ahead. I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you, and I'm not sitting in your room looking at you.
What are you doing? Why are you clicking the checkout?
This is not the video for that. I will never do that to you. Spend your money how you want. I'm just sharing with you guys what it is that I'm doing to be able to save myself money and my sanity. Not to mention, I will say this too. When I use the word dupe, I don't necessarily mean the exact dupe. It is very hard to dupe things unless I have them in my hands. And obviously, I don't have these products in my hands. This is why I am doing this video, to get myself to not purchase these. So when I say dupe, I mean like a similar, almost there. I don't need the dupe police to come at me and start yelling at me because I'm using it incorrectly. I feel like the word dupe has evolved and it's no longer what it's intentionally made for, like what it was used for. It has evolved in this community. So I think we're okay if somebody says a dupe and it's not legit like a twin of the product. We okay? We good? All right, let's get into it. All right, the first one that I want to mention to you guys is the Gwen Stefani collection. Now, you guys, I think I'm just over seeing celebrities trying to get into this market because it is so saturated. And yes, there's plenty for everyone to go around, but we've seen it, been there, done it. At least those that are in the YouTube world, we've seen it all, that we're just like, all right, what can you give me that an indie brand can't give me? You know what I mean? So fine, she came out with her own collection. Like, we didn't know she was coming out with red lipsticks. I already bought her collection when it came out with Urban Decay, so I am more than satisfied. But she came out with quads, and you guys know how I feel about quads. I am somebody who loves at least 6 minimum eyeshadows. Not a huge 30-pan palette, but give me variation. And for me, this is not something that I'm even remotely interested in. But I want to share with you guys some products or some quads that I do have that may want to have you reconsider if you are interested in these. So her quads seem to be more natural, more on the subtle side, more of like your everyday shades kind of thing. So I am just gonna use these. These are my e.l.f. bite-sized quads, and she has a mauve one, a bronzy one, a very, very light one, and a smoky one. This is enough for me. I don't need it. The mauve one, if you have the rose water one, you could do that. I feel like this will work well with the smoky one. I feel like this one will work well with the subtle one, and then you can vamp it up if you want to. The pumpkin pie quad is also another one that would go with the bronzier one. I don't care for those. I really, really don't. It's not something that interests me. If a neutral palette was going to interest me, it has to be larger. I don't know. I can't do quads. I barely reach for these, and these are okay. Like, these are good quality. I do reach for these here and there, but not enough for me to add more quads in my life. So I'm satisfied with these. This is just an idea, a dupe idea. If you are contemplating those, see how often you use a quad. Believe me, I learned that this year. I don't use quads often, so the more quads I see, the less I am buying. Up next, this tempted me real hard. As you guys can see, my eyeshadow, I really was tempted. This is the new Natasha Denona pastel palette, and I was like, okay, I don't use pastels often, but when I do use them, I really like how it turns out on my eyes, especially when I am on my natural skin tone state. Right now, I'm using the Nomad Paradise Island palette, which is beautiful, and it can be toned down because it has lighter shades in there to kind of give you a pastel look. Like, I have purple under my eyes. It's a beautiful palette, and I really was interested in this Natasha Denona one for the softness of it. But then I realized, Alex, you have pastel palettes, and there's a section of the year where you use pastels, and it's not something you can use all year round, or you even, not that I can't use it all year round, because you can use pastels whenever the heck you want. There is no rule. But for me, I know myself, and I only like to use them in the springtime. And the springtime is only given so much. And then I have to consider, in the springtime, I also have seasonal allergies, which affects my makeup wearing time. So I'm just going to enjoy this one. You guys know I'm a fan of this one. My Menagerie Pastel Pup is another one. My Lost in Los Angeles palette from BH is another one, you guys. $65, and I paid a good $50 for this one. Why not just stick to this one? This one's gorgeous. It has a little bit more depth than the Natasha Denona one. Natasha Denona has like a darker purple and then a darker red, but I think I can just get away with this one. I'm fine. I don't need every Natasha Denona release, and you guys know that Natasha Denona is one of my top 7 brands that I love, and no matter what, I will get a release if I wanted, but this is not one that I want. I don't see myself reaching for this. I just see myself getting this for the collector purposes, and I don't own every single Natasha Denona palette. So for me to say that I need this one, no, I don't. I am skipping out on it. I'm okay. If this ends up becoming like a $33 palette, a $30 palette because it's on sale, then I might consider it, because that, for me, okay, 30 bucks for me to use it for one season, I think that's worth it. But for $65, no. I barely get use out of this one, so why would I get that one? Up next, you guys. All right, this is the Artist Couture Supreme Family Supreme Mauves palette. Now, I've been eyeing Artist Couture palettes. I know Steph here loves her palettes, or their palettes, and I've been eyeing them. I've been thinking about it, but this one, I was like, oh, I think I like the one that they came out with that has a green shadow in it. This one I wasn't that excited for. And you guys know, I like mauves, I don't love them. And it has to be a specific palette for me to really go out there and get a mauve palette. So when I looked at this one, I just thought of this one. This is my Natasha Denona Retro palette. It has the depth that this palette is giving me, as well as the neutral browns that it's also giving me. Here's your neutrally browns with still pink in them, and then your depth in here. This one, I'll just reach for. I don't need that one. I already have a harder time when I'm out of that season for mauves to reach for this one. Why would I add another one to my collection? I'm going to stick to this one. It is beautiful and it looks beautiful. And I love the fact that this one does have like those metallic-y shadows in it. But again, this palette gives me those dimensions. It gives me those sparkly toppers or those shimmery metallics. So I don't need this palette at all. I have this one. I think I'm satisfied 100% with this palette, that I am not even wanting to get the Artist Couture palette. Now, their neutral one, I'm a little tempted, but I haven't, you guys. I've been real good at controlling my thirst when it comes to palettes, because I do shop my stash more often and I am more in tune with my eyeshadow palettes than I was before. So I'm doing really good, but this one I'm not getting. It's beautiful. I think it would look great, and I'm assuming the formula is amazing because I've heard nothing but great things about it. But so is my Natasha Denona palette, and I spent the money on that one, so I want to get more use out of that one. Okay, you guys. You guys know that I am just not somebody who, I only own one thing from the Kylie Cosmetics line ever, and it was because it was a free gift with purchase at Ulta. That's the only reason why I own that in my collection, and that's a highlighter. It's the only thing, and it came smashed, you guys, so I didn't even get to enjoy the embossing of it. This is when she transitioned into her new one. So I'm talking about the Kendall palette. Here is the Kendall palette 2.0. She's already done a collaboration with her sister. This is her second palette with her sister. It's a pretty palette. I'm not going to say this is horrible, horrendous. I wouldn't consider it, whatever. But when I look at this palette, I am looking at a few shades and then them meshed with neutral shadows in them. So when I think of this palette, I'd rather go for my Colored Rain Queen palette. Queen of Hearts palette. I knew it was Queen of something. The Queen of Hearts palette, you guys. So when I look at that, you're probably thinking like, Alex, that looks nothing like the Kendall palette. Now, hear me out. I'm looking at the Kendall palette. The thing that pops out at me is that pink. Well, I have these two pinks right here. The other shadows that pop out of me is a bunch of oranges. Well, I have this orange, this orangey brown, and I see a bunch of neutrals. Well, here you go. I got the neutrals in between. Like, how many oranges do I need in a palette? How many pinks or purples do I need in a palette? And how many neutrals do I need? This gives me what I'm looking at. When I see those shadows, I see popping out a purple or a pink, orange, neutrals, and that grayish shade. The only thing is that grayish shade in here, but even this one would give me that cooler tone look that I wanted. It's not a matte, and this is that's a matte, but this is a shimmer, but I'm okay. I have the white base, the lighter base. I have these neutrals to ground me. So that's what I'm thinking. Again, like I said, this isn't a dupe of it, but it's giving me similar taste. What is it that is sticking out of this palette for me? What is it that is attracting me to this palette? Those three things. Well, I can actually find other palettes like this in my collection that'll do the same for me for that. And this one's more condensed, and I love the formula of Colored Rain eyeshadow. So for me, I am content with this. I know I can just pop in a single or add a single if I wanted to make the look complete if I really am looking at this one. But no, Not interested. I'm good. And for the cost, I'm pretty sure this is a pretty penny. I don't know what the cost is because it doesn't show it right here, but I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be no 20 bucks. Okay, you guys, last but not least, this is the nude, what is it called? The Nude Prism Collection. This is a new eyeshadow palette by Lunar Beauty. I was so bummed I missed out on their mystery box, but that's okay. Maybe next time when they have one, I'll give into it. I don't own anything from Lunar Beauty, but what I have seen from my own peers on here on YouTube and from you guys letting me know, this is a brand that is a lot of fun. Their quality is really good when it comes to their eyeshadows. Their packaging is really nice and it stands out. I've seen them in a lot of favorites video, a lot of ranking videos, a lot of love videos. So I kind of had an idea that this is a good brand. But this palette, you guys, I got this specific palette for Christmas and I've yet to even touch it, but I mean, this is the condensed version of this. When I show you guys this, and I'm pretty sure you guys have a lot more palettes that you can share with me on this that you can use. The dupe, or the one that looks very similar to me, is the Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals palette by Morphe. This came out late last year. I got this for Christmas. I haven't yet to play with it, but look at it. Look at the picture and look at this. This looks like a more condensed version of that. Why would I want to spend, what is it, $48 when this one's $18 and it's more condensed? You get what you want. It is still a neutral palette. The only thing you're really missing is like a light pink, which I'm sure you can pull from a different palette. That's it. ColourPop, I'm sure, has done this over and over and over, guaranteed. The Wild Child palette from ColourPop is something that pops in my head when I think of this one. There is the small bite-size one. This one right here, very, very condensed if you don't want all this. Like, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong, and my neutral side of me is like, oh, that's really nice, I would love that. But I have this, and I've yet to play with this, and I have a ton of ColourPop, and I have a ton of neutral palette. I don't need that one. It's beautiful. It's really, really pretty, but this just quenches my thirst for it. I don't need it. I don't need it. If I were to get it for free, that's one thing, like through a mystery box or gift with purchase, fine. But for me to go out of my way and pay $48 for that, I think I'd pass. I'd pass. I'm content. I have plenty of that in my collection to be able to last me centuries. All right, you guys. Those are my 5 dupes that I have for you guys of new releases. Let me know what palettes you would pull out for these dupes, or if you are looking at other palettes that you duped yourself in your collection. Thank you so much to Dossier for collaborating with me. Again, you guys, everything you need to know about Dossier will be linked down below. I am in love with this brand, you guys. This is not the last time you will see them. I promise you guys, because I just love them that much. I have fallen hard for somebody who was not into perfumes. I am a little scared that I'm going to go down the rabbit hole. I'm going to have a ton of perfumes coming up. I have a feeling, I'm just saying it. So thank you again for all of your support. I'll put my videos on the screen for your enjoyment. Until then, adios.